My name is Michael O'Neill, and I'm one of the lead trainers at BrainStorm. This is what we call a backstage pass video, which is a video that we create that supplements our instructor-led training at BrainStorm. So oftentimes we don't have enough time to get into a lot of the details. We'll pick a couple of topics and we'll make these special backstage pass videos which allow you to understand a few more key concepts using video technology that we have here. So today's session is going to be about sharing OneNote documents and OneNote notebooks back and forth. And in this case, I have two computers down in front of me. You'll notice this computer here and this computer here are actually set up on two different accounts. Up in this corner, I have David Hamilton. You'll see it listed there. And on this one, you'll see it's Alan Steiner. So these are two demo machines that are set up in the same network. And in this particular case, we have David wants to share his OneNote file with Alan. But let's take a look first at David's notebook file. So here you see he's got two tabs. It says David Hamilton's personal notebook, and he's got a personal stuff tab, and he's got a public tab. If I switch to the public tab, he's just got a simple link to the Microsoft website. So nothing fancy there. But he wants to share this link with Alan. So while on this public tab that he has under this notebook, he's decided he's going to share this, and he's going to click the file and then go to the share option. Now, when he does this, he's actually given a number of different ways in which he can share this document. And the first question that Microsoft's going to ask is, where do you want to put this document? You'll notice that I can actually publish this right out to my SharePoint site. In this case, we're using a demo site called Contoso. I can share it online to a OneDrive file, either a corporate drive or to my local public OneDrive file, or send out a place. I'm going to go ahead and put it right out to the SharePoint site. So I'm going to tell it that I want to go to the Contoso site. And then it asks me where on Contoso would I like to put this. I'm going to put it under, let's put it under the shared document. Sounds good. And it's now going to go ahead and connect and automatically connect me into the SharePoint, into my documents folder that I have out on my Contoso team site. And it's going to simply ask me for a name. So I will put this as David's public data. Okay? So I simply give it a name. I'm going to go ahead and select the move button. And what it's now going to do is it's going to physically relocate this out onto David's public data. And you'll see that once it synchronizes this and puts this out onto the file folder, it's then going to come back and ask me how I would like to let others know that this notebook or this file is out there. So in this particular case, it says your notebook is now syncing with the new location. I'm going to say okay. And it gives me the option to say, what would you like to do? Would you like to invite some people to share with this? Would you like to create a sharing link? Would you like to share this inside of an existing meeting? Well, I can invite people simply by clicking into the invite cell. And because I want to share this with Alan, I start typing Alan's name. You'll notice that it automatically resolves. So I'll simply say, yep, let's share it to Alan. I can click here and tell it what kind of edit privileges. Do I want him to edit it or just be able to view this file? I can put in my own personal message. Check this out. And when I say share, what it's going to do is it's going to automatically generate an email that will go to Alan that tells him that this file is shared. Now there's an easier way to do this. The simple fact is, using the Get Sharing link, I can click on that. And this allows me to create two different types of link, either a view link or an edit link, depending on the privileges that I want to give this particular user. I'll go ahead and give him an edit link. So I'll click on the Create Link button. And when I do, you'll see that it creates a long URL that automatically points to this particular document. So I'm going to select that line just by clicking on it. I'm going to make a copy of it using my Command or Control C. And then the easiest way to do this, let's assume we're talking on a phone, or better yet, we're in a link meeting, is I'm going to open up Alan, because he's one of my contacts inside a link. So let me click on him to get him open. There he is. And just to show you, Link will be running on this machine as well. We'll get that up and running. There's David. So as soon as David says, yo, I should see that pop up over here. I'm going to click now, and now they're in a conversation. And then he can simply paste the link in, hit enter, and you'll see the link comes in automatically here. Now watch what happens when David clicks on this. He's going to go ahead and click. It launches it. It goes out to the Contoso SharePoint site, or this would be your SharePoint site. and it automatically pulls up all of the information. Uh-oh, wait a minute. We have a problem here, because when I was over here, I was sharing the public information, but look what came over. The personal stuff came over. Now I'm looking at this as OneNote Online. I can actually download this into my whole local OneNote file, but because we were sharing it online, it gives me an online view. But when it shares everything. It shares the entire notebook. The pages, the tabs, everything that's inside of the notebook comes across. So even though in this particular case I only meant to share the public record, which was that folder, that tabbed folder that had public, it actually shared everything, including my private information. And you can see here, it might take a second to sync, but if I click on the public side, it will go over, and now I see both the public and the personal information all at the same time, which is not what I intended. So now we got to figure out, how do we undo this? Or better yet, how do we share just a particular aspect of this? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over here under my sharing command, and I can turn this off, and I'm not going to take the steps to show you how to do this, but you can easily remove rights from the document. You can easily delete the document. You can move the document. In this case, I have the sharing link. I'm going to get the sharing link, and I'm just going to disable this link. So it will no longer work if someone tries to click in this document. Now, because it's good to know that because David was already looking at this information, he is live online, it doesn't automatically kick him out because it was up in front of him when it happened. If David were to shut down this web page, and now I've disabled the link on this side, I go back to my link discussion tab, and I had a chat going on. I try to use that same link, and you'll see something went wrong. It's been disabled. So if they're in the middle of looking at it, it isn't going to revoke their rights, but as soon as they get out, if I disable the link and they try to get back in, it's no longer available. And I can go up to the SharePoint site now, and I can remove it, delete the file, etc. What we really wanted to do, though, is go into Microsoft's Backstage. Now, let me go back to where we were. This is the case where I have the information up here. I've got both my tabs. I'm just in OneNote right now. I'm going to click on this file. This is called the Backstage with Microsoft. And instead of clicking the Share button, which we just learned shares everything inside that notebook, it shares, I'm going to do the Export command. And when I click on Export, look what happens. I have the ability now to export a page, a section, or a notebook. So here I have the different pages. If I go to Section, you'll see that listed in here. I can go ahead and tell it which file type I want to save it as, whether it's a section, it's a page, etc. I'm going to go ahead and click Export. It's going to go through, and it's going to ask me now, which one do you want? What do you want to call it? I will again call this, let's call it Public 2 just to make a new one. The current section is the one that I'm on, so it's the page that I'm looking on, so I'll say Save. And now when I do this, it's actually going to just save out this public information. And the process works exactly the same way. So I can go back now. Now you'll notice that it created a new tab. And that's because it's actually showing you, it's giving you that information in a separate sheet, so they get the sheet, not the entire notebook. And if we go back out here, I'm going to go this time to this machine. I'm going to go up to my sites page. Let me maximize this for a second so you can see rather easy. So I'm going to go to my sites page. I'm going to go into my team site. And here under document, you'll see David's public data. Okay, now that's because David had published this out. Remember, we first published it to SharePoint, then we set a link. Well, we disabled the link, but we never took the document down, so it's still there. If David wanted that to be removed, he needs to go up and delete that. Just so you can see, I left it here because if I go into this file now and launch it, you'll see I still will be able to get in. But the one thing I won't be able to do, here's that same information. So I've got the same tabs and everything else here. You will notice this Public 2, the folder that I created over here, has now been updated and joined. But the interesting thing about this is, let me get back to my SharePoint site. Give me one second. So if I go back now to David's page, I'm going to go into his web browser. Okay, go back to the sites. He's going to also go to the team sites. There we go. I missed the touch. Okay, so here it is. Here's David's public data. When he clicks on this right here and goes up to files, which you'll see here, that's how we get the commands for the files themselves. So if David wanted to delete this, he certainly can. To show you on this machine what it looks like, you'll notice a difference here. When I go in here, I can also click on this document. I can also go up to files, but I want you to see one big difference. When I click here on files, you'll notice on this side, because I was the creator, I have the ability to delete the document. But because I shared it, I still gave rights to edit, but I didn't give rights as an administrator to the whole file. When in this case, Alan goes up, he can go into the exact same thing, but you'll notice that the delete document is grayed out. He doesn't have privilege to go ahead and delete that document. Over here, I can go ahead and select delete. Are you sure you want to? I'm going to say okay. And because I was the one that created it, I've now removed it from the team site, and it's no longer shareable and updatable. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page here just so you can see. And you'll notice that it's now gone completely from this file library. So the important note is when you share a document or share a notebook, you're sharing the entire notebook. When you want to share just a particular section, whether that's a file or a page or a folder, you actually will do it as an export. You'll export it out, and then once you export it out, you'll make shared links to that as well. Hopefully this was a benefit to you. Hopefully you now understand the difference so you don't embarrassingly share out stuff that you didn't mean to share out. We hope you had a good time today, and we hope you'll come back for more of these backstage videos. Thanks.